Oh,
Alexander Karen goes, what will be the initial goals of Transhumanist Australia, and do you have plans to create a political party to affect the political outlook in Australia? Yes, Alex, that's exactly what we've done. So we've built our website, which encompasses the non-profit side of things, as well as the political side of things. Now, Rafe is also online, and he actually attended the alliance we have with the Future Party meeting. And what we're doing is now we're actually members of a registered party called the Future Party. And as part of that alliance, we're building up our transhumanist group as well. And as we get more and more members, the transhumanists through the transhumanist website, we can then register our own party. And it looks like the Greens and the others are sort of trying to make it very hard for these micro parties to perform. So that's what I'm hearing from the inside. Right now, it's about 500 members, and they're looking to bump that up to about 1,500.
Oh my God!
Yeah. So it's kind of a bit of a challenge, but at least we're part of a party at the moment, and the Future Party we can influence the policies, and then going forward, when we build up that bigger base and we grow the Future Party, we grow the Transhumanist Party as well within that, we can then have our own party to have that separate identity and align it with the global transhumanist movement, as you can see in the US and the UK. I hope that answers your question, Alex. There we go. Okay, I have to click it. You had that's really nice background there, Brendan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Really calm, cool music.
Oh, yeah. My daughter's playing the piano.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll get started properly in about a couple of minutes when the others join. But on the other side, Brendan, I've added all your the Trello sort of ideas that we talked about on the phone onto Trello.
Yep.
And we'll try to get this non-profit side of things. We've got to get our presence in Second Life, on those MVU platform chat rooms.
Oh,
get
sweet.
our Steam group going. Yeah. Get our virtual reality chat rooms and avatars for the transhumanists in Australia.
Yeah, I think that's really, really good. You saw the question from, was it Rafe? Before?
Yeah.
Yeah, where did you see that? Was it just on the sidebar? Or,
yeah, I think if you could go click on Q&A. Oh, it's not Rafe, it was from Alex.
Oh, like Alex, sorry. Oh, Q&A, here we go. All right.
Yeah. Hello. Hey, Rafe.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome.
This works? Oh, nice. We've got Amit and Gregory in here as well.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I probably have my mic on the whole time. I didn't even realize.
Hey? What was that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
We got this. Just practice the piano back there.
Yeah, my daughter.
Oh, she's actually getting really good.
Yeah, she's composing.
Send the invites to the others in case they have to invite people individually to the hangout.
Let me see if I can figure out how to mute so you don't get everyone else bothered. Okay,
Oh, that's okay. It's good background here.
Is there a push to talk feature?
Yeah, like the other one. We just learned this app called Mumble.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was pretty good. Mumble talk.
Yeah, it worked out.
With those business cards, we had the idea of the actual alternate reality stuff would be really cool as well.
Yeah.
About it. So it takes a little bit of the ordinary, boring business card and turns it into something special, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
I think that's the epitome of a transhumanism party.
Yeah. Get a Fred second. Yeah.
doing different stuff.
Right. How did the rest of the meeting go yesterday? Was it? Sorry, I had to duck out.
Yeah, I didn't stay much longer after it. I think someone answered for me when you said, "Oh, hey, Rafe,"
Oh, hey,
and they're
Rafe.
like, "Oh, hey, hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Whoa, they're having a conversation with me."
Well, who was that?
I don't know. I put in my I just chatted. I was just chatting because I didn't want to overpopulate with all the chatting
Right.
going on with a bigger group.
We've got a solution for overpopulation. That's all right. Multi-planetary. Oh, here we go. We got James there.
Okay.
Hey, James.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, how you going? Yeah, good.
Good.
Were you only able to join after I sent through the invite?
Yeah,
Like,
so I could join once you sent me the video call.
okay.
But when I'm on the page where you can just see the Hangout on air,
Yeah.
there's no way to actually leave comments. So
Okay.
yeah, this is one of the reasons why we actually shifted from Hangouts and Hangouts on air
Yeah.
to Mumble,
Okay.
because Mumble allows us to have essentially as many participants as we want,
Yeah,
but yeah, Hangouts is quite limited.
yeah.
But seeing as this is a transhumanist thing, if you've got more people who need to join in, I can sit out.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Send it through whoever wants to actually show their face, and if they want to comment, they can post their comments on the Hangouts page if they want, just down, just or even in the Facebook group. That's
That's
on the event.
that's a good idea.
Just a comment. Cool. Yeah. So if you have any comments, just post it, and if you can't join in, go to the events page, post a comment. Okay. So yeah. So how did the rest of the other chat room go yesterday, James? So yeah, I went to the policy side, but
Yeah, no, we did a lot of stuff. There's a lot of legwork to get our party re-registered.
yeah.
We managed to do an email out today to 550 of our members.
All right.
Got some people responding back, got some people quitting.
Oh, right.
Exactly what
There's
we'd expect,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, people don't maintain their political beliefs over 2 years necessarily. So yeah, there's still a lot of work to do. Still a lot of records to check and stuff like that. But yeah, if you've got more transhumanist members who are interested in being future party members as well,
Yeah,
that would be great if you could sign
yeah,
up.
definitely.
Um,
Definitely. Yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, so I was just validating, verifying them all on the electoral roll. So I managed to get through some of it, but just validating the rest is just going to shoot everyone to the Trello site to confirm. And if you go to the AEC website and confirm your full name and address that way. So has everyone got access to do you know where to go for the electoral roll to check if you're registered for the address that you got?
I do.
Yeah. That's Brennan and Raph. Yeah. I'm just sending through the invites here. Trevor, get Trevor in here. Yeah, so it should be good for this Sunday as well.
Good.
Yeah, for the hackathon.
Get our membership finalized.
Yeah.
I think we'll make it, especially with transhumanist members. But it's just, just getting the hard stuff done. Running a political party is like, for us, it's been 60% admin over the last while. So it's it'll eat up your time very quickly if you start one yourself.
Someone's got to crack the nut on this, right? Like they would have found a way to automate the process, or at least find the best practice. what's the best practice?
Well, I mean, the best way to do it is to get someone elected and then have staffers do it for money.
That's right. Yeah, get $1 million.
Yeah, get $1 million from the electoral council. Yeah, the thing about like volunteering is very few people think when they want to volunteer that, they're going to be working with spreadsheets and ringing people up. Usually
Yeah,
they
it's
just
not
want to
fun,
talk
yeah.
policy.
Yeah.
And that's a tiny fraction of the work of a political party if you're going to be
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah, yeah. Which is why, we joined, you guys and Build Battle Alliance. We're just like, oh, geez, there's a lot we could learn, and yeah, there's a lot of infrastructure to share there.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are going to pick up a lot of good pointers about what works and what doesn't. You know,
Definitely.
you'll see our mistakes, including some of our mistakes that we've already acknowledged, because a lot of the stuff is still historical. But yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Jordan's joined us. Hi, Jordan, can you hear us? Maybe not.
so you said Jordan. I can't
Yeah,
see a
yeah.
Jordan on the list
Okay.
at the bottom there.
Yeah, he probably hasn't got his video cam set in. That's good. At least he can. At least people can chat in this little box. Have you got the Hangout box there, James?
Yeah, I
You
can
got-
see it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Let's just chat in there, and then we can go through the details. All right. So we might as well make a start. Yeah. Welcome everyone. How you doing? This is the first Transhumanist Australia meetup, and on through Google Hangouts. So just like to get some introductions going. Let's see who we've got in the room. Let's go through this list on the chat box. So on video, we've got James Jansen from the Future Party. We've got Rafe from Perth, who's part of the Transhumanists Australia. And we've got Brendan as well from Sydney. Now on the Google Hangouts chat box, we've got here, quite a few here. We've got Alex, yeah, Lex Van Kooten, yeah, Amit, Bo Williams, Jordan, Gregory, and Trevor Kelly. Hey, Trev. Hey, yeah, Trevor's the boy. Now, Jordan, I met a long time ago when there was a Michio Kaku event in Sydney, and Jordan was one of the speakers before Michio Kaku. And he was presenting on his brain to machine. Oh, everyone's here. I can see everyone. There you go. Hello. Hey, Amit.
Hey there.
Is that Gregory? Hey, Gregory. Hey, how you going? Is the QA system working? Yes, it is. I like how you going. Yeah. Who's cooking in the background? Who's got this cook? Where's that coming from? Is that Alex? Hey, Lex.
Yeah, it's Alex.
Yeah,
If
Lex.
Alex can mute himself.
Right.
How's it going, guys?
Good to much noise.
My,
Hey, how are you?
camera's busted. It's Jordan here.
That's alright. Good to see you, Alex. Sorry, we couldn't catch you on Skype before. It's just been
Oh,
a
that's
crazy
fine.
week.
It's good to, yeah, I understand. It's crazy here too. I got uni,
Yeah,
uni
man.
right now, actually.
Jesus. Yeah, there's a lot of that. And
Can you
when's
guys,
the,
can you guys hear me?
yeah, I can hear you fine. When's all the
That's sweet.
finals finishing up?
Mine finish end of next week. Some people, I think the last ones are on the 25th.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately for them,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm of the opinion I just want to get them out of the way. As soon as
Yeah,
possible.
that's right. Might as well start with you, Lex. Why don't you introduce yourself to the team?
Okay, my name is Lex. I'm in Brisbane, Queensland. I am a student studying Bachelor of Business, and very passionate about working on technologies to change people's lives in a very in a very real way. As in, like right now, I'm working on a prosthetic arm. You probably see. And so I'm also involved in the entrepreneurial kind of environment here in Brisbane as well. So got a lot of friends who have their own startups. I have my own startup as well. So very passionate about business and tech, engineering, all that sort of stuff. I'd love to be an engineer, but I'm kind of, I don't know, maybe I haven't got the skills. I'm still learning, and I'm very much in the business sphere right now. So,
nice.
But eventually I want to develop the skills to be an engineer and create those awesome products, like what Google does. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, cool. What sort of startup are you doing?
At the moment, I've got a startup. It's called Pick Me, and basically it connects startups and small businesses with students or students looking for experience. So internships. So it's connecting people with internship opportunities. Yeah, so we just started at the beginning of this year. Some challenges are obviously with the startup sphere. Not everyone has the cash flow or the revenue to be able to pay anyone. So that's where we thought students would be awesome to come in and to kind of bring their fresh ideas. And maybe they don't have the experience, but they're willing and they're open-minded to be able to kind of get trained up in that, in whatever skill set. And so and they get to work one-on-one with the founders of startups and small businesses. And so that kind of like that resonated with me being a student, and also being passionate about business. I always wanted to I want to learn about business and I want to be part of it, rather than someone who comes along and is kind of told this is your place, this is what you do, and kind of slotting into that system. But yeah, awesome. Contribution is something I enjoy doing. So that's what the startup's based on.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. I mean, we're trying to connect sort of the education sector with the business sector, right? I was at this sort of function today. It's called Building Future Cities. And it was for the, trying to plan out Western Sydney, right? Because Western Sydney is like an opportunity to really start afresh. And, around UWS, for example, they're trying to get, UWS and those guys there to actually participate with the industry and train people up while they're doing this, having that sort of experience. And I think that's some of the policies that might come through as well, if we play well with James's policy initiatives, right? So Lex, you know a bit about what we've done with the Future Party Alliance. Next we'll point to Amit. Amit, how you doing? There he is. Hey, Amit was one of the first people that we met at our first meetup in Sydney. Is that right?
Nice.
Yeah, that's right. 6 months ago. Yeah, it feels like it's time's flown. Yeah, why don't you introduce yourself, Amit?
All right, everyone. My name is Amit. I am a I'm an entrepreneur, business, a real estate agent. I focus with helping people, invest in property and all that. Now, I'm also heaps political, as the more the more veteran members of the Transhumanist group knows. I'm very, historically or politically outspoken, especially when I'm drinking. Peter,
just 1 second, Amit. Alex, can I get you to mute your microphone? Because it's cutting off Amit.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Just mute yourself there, Alex.
Is it my mic? Oh yeah, sorry. How do we mute it on the iPad?
At the top.
How do we?
It should say mute microphone at the top.
Let me see.
You can just press the microphone icon.
That's right. I've muted him. I got him. Alright, I'll mute.
Anyway, so I'm politically outspoken, historically knowledgeable. When I'm drunk, I run about the Nazis. Apart from that, building, like Lisa said, I'm the whole future cities and whatnot. Sorry, like you guys have been talking about. Sorry, about future cities and whatnot, and I have no idea what else to say. So I'm just here to tag along with the conversation, see how it rolls, and see what the input is with the other guys here.
Yeah, please don't mention Nazis when you're drunk. It's just every time you do it, it's just really down. Damn it. It's a Fijian Indian that keeps talking about Nazis. Anyway, Brendan, you're next. Yeah. You still there, Brendan? He's probably still got his daughter playing the piano there. Oh, Jordan, have you got a microphone there?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
I don't know how
yeah, Jordan. Hi. Thanks for joining us, Jordan. Yeah, how's your Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll let you do the introduction yourself.
No, that's all right. That's all right. You can ask questions.
Yeah. So Jordan, as I was saying earlier, first met Jordan when he was doing the talk before Michio Kaku in Sydney, and he was working on a brain-to-machine interface for a smart wheelchair. Really?
Yep.
How's that coming along?
Yeah, good. I finished my PhD in 2012 on that. And thanks. yeah, and since then worked for a biomed company, worked for ResMed, and then moved on to working for the Cerebral Palsy Alliance. So I can now be co-located with different people with various disabilities. And yeah, so now I'm redesigning a new model that'll be more commercially focused, but also adapting technology into areas like earlier diagnostics and new communication devices. So I'm mostly focused around the disability area, but still doing a lot of public speaking as well. And yeah, it's been good.
Cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing more results.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Oh, and on top of that, we recently got a bunch of funding from Telstra Foundation, so I've just started a new technology incubator for disability.
Congrats.
Thanks. It's currently called Life Labs, but we're going through a name change quite early on, just before we launch it, and that's going to be run by Avis Mulhall. I brought her in. She ran Lulu Paper and Think Act Change. Yeah. So I brought her in, and now she's going to run that, and I'm going to continue on with these other projects.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because Telstra is doing quite a bit, when they're branching out there with the Muru-D program as well. And this is for the non-profit side. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, Muru-D gave us a lot of help in the start as well. Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, Gregory, you're next.
Hey, I just turned my mic on.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I've been a president at UTS for a student club, and they asked me to be candidate. So I used to be pretty involved with politics. At the moment, if the Liberal Party was a ship, I'd like to make a torpedo. So that about sums it up. I like this to get shit done. I've got links in some major political parties. We'll see what we can come up with, and I'll see if I can get them employed.
That's really cool, Gregory. I know you were formerly part of the Pirate Party as well.
Yeah, I left them.
Sure. We James actually set up this minor party alliance of the willing. Oh, sorry. What are we? The extreme left? What do they say, James, in the article?
Yeah, they called me they called me specifically hard left, and extreme. For someone who basically believes in capitalism fairly strongly, I find that to be a compliment. I do like redistribution of wealth in addition to capitalism. Combine those two together, you get a good system. Can I just ask why did you leave the Pirate Party? What made you feel like you needed to jump ship, so to speak? Sorry, what was that?
There was nothing left there to do. They've reached their objective.
Okay.
What's their objective?
Well, they wrote the digital media policy for the Greens, and the Greens adopted it. So.
So they're calling it quits. Is that what you're saying?
Anymore. Sorry, what was the question?
So they're calling it quits. They're not doing anything more. Is that what you're saying?
That is just more of didn't feel like there was anything left to do there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's sort of internal open democracy thing now, isn't it? Is that how it is? Because it's a very flat structure.
Like they were a bit too narrow.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why we set up Transhumanism Australia is, we're trying to really promote science, health, and technology, and life extension in particular. And, we found the Future Party guys, they saw their policies, and they're very much aligned with the transhumanist values, right? So, with the political party, I think a lot of people aren't interested as much in politics, so we also have the sort of non-profit side of things, and we wanted to see what else we can actually do to make a difference, right, as a non-profit organization. And one of the things we've done so far, we've created the website. Not sure if you guys checked it out already. In there again. And also our Trello group. Have you guys all joined the Trello group? Not sure if you found the link. Yeah. And I saw the earlier question from Alec Posney that he was looking for the link, so I'll just paste it here again. There we go. And it's really, first it's an ideation space. You can just throw out any of your ideas up there. And then, when we get to a point where people actually think, oh, this is actually a great idea, we can assign people to start creating that. And what I'm trying to do here is trying to create like an open source, crowdsourced sort of environment that people can actually get together and get shit done. Right? And one of the things that I wanted to do is set up this nonprofit in the first instance and get all the members to join up. Have you guys all seen the longevity cookbook on Indiegogo campaign?
Nope.
No? All right, I'll paste the link here. There we go. You check up on Trello. There you go. It's all in that first list called Create Nonprofit Organization. Right?
Yes, it is. I'd seen it, right? But I was like, cookbook, man, this might sound a bit too boring.
No, it's a master chef for life extensionists. But
I don't know, like, yeah. In terms of a cookbook, all you really need for life extension is like what? Stem cell injections every week or so? Problem solved.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Lex, I didn't actually mute you permanently, did I? I think I clicked on mute before, but I didn't need to do it permanently. Oh, you're fine. Yeah, you muted yourself. That's all right. Hey, Bo, how are you? Oh, I can't hear you, Bo. Did you get your mic on? Turn your mic on, Bo. Oh, mic on, Bo. Anyway, so yeah, that's the idea behind Trello and how we can sort of crowdsource those the talent that we can have and really get everyone to chip in to help make transhumanism bigger in Australia. And also with the website, I've given all our members admin access. So if you go to the website and you look on the right-hand side panel, there's an admin panel where you can edit this page and include more content in there. Now, Jordan, I'd really like to, yeah?
I was going to inject for a moment. If anyone has admin access, does that mean that an individual may perhaps accidentally delete something?
Yeah. That's a risk I'm willing to take for it to grow, right? And that's the sort of trust I entrust on our transhumanist members. At the same time, without that trust, we can't grow, right? And we'll be able to see it anyway. So yeah, it shows up.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
anyway, yeah, keep going.
I know, Dan. Dan, what are the lessons learned on that?
Look, my experience, we have in the Future Party a lot of Google Docs, which are basically open to anyone who has a link to edit and to delete and do whatever.
Personally familiar with that.
Keep your membership records private. Back up everything all the time. The way you avoid people destroying everything you've got is by downloading it and putting it on a drive that they can't touch. If you back up every week, you'll only lose a week's worth of stuff. So that's my suggestion. Don't be too paranoid about people trying to mess things up. Don't be too paranoid about people looking at things as well. If ASIO wants to look at you, they can. They probably already have, right?
They probably
They're probably here right now.
Yeah,
quite possibly.
They're just looking at our tweets in transhumanism. It's like life extension and that sort of thing. They're like, well, who are these transhumanists in Australia?
Actually, when ASIO looks at transhumanism, they're like, oh, some sort of transsexual cult.
Oh yeah, no, that's the meme we got going on in our Facebook group.
Yeah.
But we're all for that. We're LGBT friendly, right? And if whatever you want to do with your bodies and your personal life, we're all for
not
that,
against
right?
it.
Exactly.
Well, not against it.
So on the website, what we can do is throw things like startup information as well, things that are related to life extension. And I think down the track it would be really good to start investing in these young biotech companies that are really influence the future of life extension research.
How about a campaign against a campaign towards these lobby groups?
That's right. Yeah, there's quite a few.
By the way, is someone's volume a bit too high because I can hear my own voice and it sounds like a feedback loop?
Yeah,
sorry about that.
Is it me?
Sorry about that, man.
That's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Yes.
targeting lobby groups instead of these small private Kickstarters and whatnot may be more beneficial. You know instead of targeting the small groups. Lobby groups instead. Anyone for that or what?
Yeah, I haven't got much experience with targeting lobby groups. What are James? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah.
We haven't done that. I mean, I know people who are in lobby groups. Um, I know the Australian Taxpayers Alliance guy. He's the leader in that. Yeah, it's. I mean, the lobby groups have an agenda, right? Like
Of course.
they're us. they're people who have opinions who are trying to change the opinions of people who have power. So they actually don't have a lot of power themselves. I guess if you really wanted to like change things and utilize their resources, it might be an idea to start joining their membership for people, well, for groups that have similar belief systems. But it's. I mean, you could have a go. I don't know who you target.
Yeah.
Actually, one time, right? Like I think about maybe a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, we had a meeting, and at one of the transhumanist meetings, we actually did talk about this for like a few minutes, and I forgot who it was, but someone said that targeting the insurance companies as the insurance lobbyists would be a great idea. The longer they live, the more their clients are paying, and they're less likely they are to pay out because less likelihood of getting sick or whatever. So targeting
Yeah,
insurance companies may be a great idea for lobby groups.
I think you'll find that the way that the legislation is formed at the moment is designed to regulate young people to pay more into insurance under the assumption that people will get older and people will live longer and happier and healthier lives, but the actual cost of it will go up with time. So I don't know. Maybe there's you could get the government to fund more money into research that does life extension cheaper or something like that. But for the large part, life extension actually increases insurance company costs. But I mean, yeah, you could have a go at that. I don't know. There's a few people. Well, the Future Party has someone who used to work in insurance, Tom Burt.
Yeah, Tom Burt. Is that AMP, right? Was that AMP?
Yeah, he's doing superannuation products at the moment. So, yeah, he might have something to say about it. But I think, I mean, quite often the insurance companies, they want you to have a very good quality of life, very happy and healthy right up to the end and a nice quick death. None of this dragged out, suffering or dragged out medication and treatment and stuff like that. So,
of course,
that's why. See what they have to say.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's great and all. That's why maybe insurance companies may be in favor of euthanasia or the other fringe party, the euthanasia party.
Yeah. We discussed that. There's a whole party dedicated to that. In fact, and they were there at the left-minded party.
Look, I think that if any insurance company came out in favor of voluntary euthanasia, that would be the end of them.
Of course. Exactly, but
one of the good things about the life extension technologies is that they usually make you live longer and better, but you still die. So ultimately, it's usually not a protracted thing. You usually die from a heart attack or something like that instead of cancer, right? So that's some of the technology that's been looked at with the telomerones treatment, where they actually make the telomerones longer. It reduces the long drawn-out death, but usually die very quickly from other some complications.
That's right. Oh, we got another joiner, Trevor. Hello. Are you there, Trevor? That's right. So Trevor's from Deloitte. He's our solutions architect.
Testing microphone.
In-house genius. Oh, Bo, you tested. How you going?
Just. Oh, you can hear me now.
Yes. And we're hearing from Trevor as well. We're hearing Trevor as well. Yeah. Hey, Bo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
can
Bo.
you hear me?
I didn't get to let you introduce yourself before. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm having a bit of problems here. Yeah, I'm Bo. I've been into transhumanism for about a year now. Ever since I read a book. It was a sci-fi book, and I'm having a complete mental blank right now about what it was. But it put me onto the idea of singularity and transhumanism and all that stuff. And then I kind of looked up Nick Bostrom's page on transhumanistics ethics and stuff, and I was really intrigued by the kind of ideals that it had. Sorry, my lights are trying to put me to bed. And yeah, so that really interested me, and I started to look into transhumanism and all those kinds of things. And I got more and more into the culture and stuff, and yeah, just most happy to meet people with like-minded.
Who's transhumanism ethics were you just talking about then? Who was that?
Nick Bostrom.
Nick Bostrom.
Yeah, he's the author of Super Intelligence.
He's really like concise. I think he started the H Plus Institute. He co-founded that with another mental blank. Sorry, guys. With someone else. So
yeah, there was quite a few, and also Ray Kurzweil is sort of like the founding. The god of transhumanism. Let me paste the link for Nick Bostrom's book there for you.
So for me, I'm really interested
there you go, Ray's on it.
in the longevity aspect. That's a big one for me.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think Brendan was onto the right thing as well. We want to live longer as well as live better. And eventually, I think it'll get to a point where you only die of natural causes, like getting hit by I don't know, just things that not a car, because I was thinking car, but we're gonna have driverless cars, so it's smart enough to reduce the casualties on the road. And Jordan, so any part of your research that you've seen, because I was thinking of putting some more and more stuff onto the website, and potentially Lex's material as your material. Any through your experiences going through your PhD as well, what brought you to transhumanism, and how did you think of this whole process?
Well, it was almost a bit of a natural progression. I've been looking into robotics and artificial intelligence and where I thought it was all going, and then started. I think I found out about the term transhumanism quite late in the piece, and so I was looking into it just without giving it a term, and started looking into ways that we can live longer. Obviously, like you guys were saying, there's no point living to 150, 200 years if you've got dementia from 80.
Exactly.
It's increasing not only length of life, but the quality of life, which is something that is interesting to me. For me, I've always been working towards technologies that can increase the quality of life for people with disabilities, and that's quite a challenge. But then, when a lot of their conditions are indicative of what happens when you get older, it's the same sort of thing that you can start looking at. And I think I've really been looking more towards the robotic side of things. I've been trying to sort of keep my scope to that, where robotics and AI might be able to play a role, and starting to look more into now, finding out a bit more about what people are thinking is going to happen, as well as my own ideas on what might happen once we start getting closer towards singularity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a natural progression, like you said. Yeah.
Exactly, it's a natural progression that could be also very dangerous. But at the same time, I'm sort of set on helping out with finding some of the advances and even making some of them, but then showing what positive potential they can have, and so what sort of positive applications they can be pushed into any of the advances in this direction.
That's definitely right. That's sort of exactly how I got into it as part of my research at Deloitte with Trevor, actually. Trevor, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Ah, there we go. Trevor, I think you're in the perfect place to talk about your super intelligence ASI. Trevor is a big sci-fi buff as well, but he can do the AI machine learning, and we're playing around with IBM Watson at Deloitte. That's Trevor. Trevor, yeah, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm from Deloitte. I'm trying to get cognitive analysis going and off the ground. A lot harder than one would expect. And basically, I got into AI probably around 2011. My son signed me up for a Coursera course, and that's when I came across Andrew Nung, and since then bought a lot of Google shares.
Yeah, Trevor's got his own script on looking at sentiment analysis of news feeds, and that helps him make good investment decisions. And his script has been working so far. So far so good.
Yeah, so I'm trying to integrate sentiment analysis from a whole pile of news feeds into an existing quant system that I've got.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, you're going to see more and more of these applications, and we're trying to find ways to apply it in Deloitte, which is sort of really automating our work and making a lot of jobs redundant. But it's sort of forcing people to upskill and really look at machine learning and making technology part of everything that they do.
Hurry the singularity along.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever we can do to accelerate it. And that will also help with our research, because with the help of AI, that also, you can already see it in the health sector, helping them discover new drug applications, really doing a lot more things that people could never dream of before. And that's the whole point. We're trying to set up this non-profit here in Australia. So yeah, I think some of the other meetups that you see on the transhumanist agenda was, had a lot of people all talking about, how to split up profits and all that sort of thing. But we're here to actually try to make a difference, right? So let's get on with that role. I'll try to do whatever I can to bring in what Deloitte's done. So have you guys checked out the Gov 2020 website, which looks at what are the future drivers and trends and how that impacts technology in itself? I'm going to paste the sitemap in here. But this is some of the research that I'll be doing in the future with the Center for the Edge, which is a think tank, global think tank from Deloitte. So I'm trying to put more material together around this and help governments do things that are future-proof, right? So, for example, today I was in Western Sydney, the Parramatta office at Deloitte, and we were giving a design thinking workshop to a lot of the government ministers, as well as some of the business CEOs there, and we were looking at, look, if you're looking at 2020, the year 2020, right, you're going to take in all those assumptions. And then they looked at what's going to happen in the year 2031, right, with a whole bunch of new assumptions. And then 2054. By then, we just got a little bit funny, because 2054, that's after the singularity, right? And then these guys are still talking about, aging population, Joe Hockey thinks we're going to live to 120. I mean, that's pretty damn conservative.
Don't you reckon by 2054 we just how do we survive?
That's right. Exactly. And it's part of the whole sort of what Singularity University are doing, is educating people on how to think exponentially. And I think that's something else we should be doing for the Australian electorate, right? That'll help people turn up to vote, right, James? To actually, educating electorate. I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get this across to the day-to-day people.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that transhumanism is the very edge of what we're talking about. When we first started our political party, I wanted to say something about nuclear power being necessary so that we could have things like atomic 3D printers, because the energy that's necessary to run something like that is enormous. But when you do that, you can create things like a perfect computer or something like that. Anyway, our party director, Jordan Rastrick, said basically, that's a bit too out there, even though he believes in it. Like, he knows about these concepts. he's very interested in the singularity. He's a little bit scared about like malicious AI and all that kind of stuff. But he was like, this doesn't even connect to the average voter. So you need to ease people into it a bit, I guess. Like, let them know what you're talking about. I think most people actually still don't know what you mean by the singularity. And in fact, if you went around this circle right now, you'd probably get 10 different definitions of what the singularity is, right? Like, is it AI? Is it health? Is it computational power? Is it all of those things combined? Is it the destruction of humanity and the takeover of the
black
machines?
hole? Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a black hole? Is it grey goo? Is it, you know? So you need to firstly work out what you're saying, and then you need to ease people into what you mean.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Well, yeah, we're trying to make the transition as easy as possible by aligning ourselves with the global transhumanism movement, and that's obviously, you know, like we've got Zoltan Isban in the US going for president, and you know he gets his, you know, so all his sort of thinking around from what the Singularity University guys do, but Ray Kurzweil, Peter Diamandis. And the way that Ray Kurzweil obviously puts it is that law of accelerating returns, and he puts 2045 as a point where the computers can actually process faster than all the people, you know, human population combined. Right? And you think that's the point where it gets sentient. I think that's you know, it's still not an elevator pitch format. We're working on some sound bites, and I'm not sure if everyone's seen the Lumio site where we have sort of policy discussions on how we release messages out to the public. Has everyone seen the Lumio website? So this is our open democracy platform. So Trello is for ideation, and Lumio is for policy discussion and implementation. So let me put this link down here as well. I mean, we're doing a lot of platforms. So I feel like, you know, this is the trouble with, you know, the new age. Every startup's got a better ability to do one thing than the other. Let me just press this here. Good test should pass. What our thoughts are on singularity? Yeah, what's your thoughts on singularity, Ray?
I was just wondering, do we have any defense or humanitarian policies? Is there a bit intertwined?
Yeah, that's right. So that's one of the issues will be, you know, becoming more and more relevant as people see it. Yeah.
I don't think we had any policies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We had like, you know, basic income and, you know, aligning ourselves with the Future Party guys, the Future Party Alliance. So, you know, we're looking at building more and more of them through the Lumia website. At the same time, we can see the Future Party's policies on the website. So these are actually, you know, down to earth, you know, real policies that are relevant to your day-to-day electorate. But on the, sorry, Ray, did I cut you in?
Sorry?
Did I cut you off, Ray? Sorry.
Oh, no, that's all good.
Sorry,
yeah, no, I thought that was maybe a good thing to gauge the group, perhaps. What is singularity? And just a few things that maybe that we are all familiar with, but maybe we all have varying degrees on what it actually is.
Yeah. So what do you think it is? Yeah. I mean, I guess we get ballpark, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Oh yeah, sorry, Rev, did I get you to introduce yourself to the group before?
No.
Yeah,
I was in early, I guess. So. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Me, oh my. Want to live forever? Don't we all, right?
Do you want? That sounds good. Yeah.
At the moment, I'm studying through Open University because I work full time. I study accounting. That's my minor, and my major is technology. Funnily enough, and that's its actual title, technology. So at the moment, I'm doing databases. That's my unit. What else am I doing? I'm trying to push a few different businesses as well. One is Elkfish Robotics, which is a drone or UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle company. Just starting to build into data collection and sort of using that as our angle into the market. Yeah, I'm writing a book at the moment as well, sci-fi, one of my side projects. And yeah,
Yep.
that's me.
That's
Awesome
really
stuff.
cool. Yeah, yeah. No, there's going to be drones everywhere. Like, there's going to be so many drones that you won't know where to go without one.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah.
looking
They're
forward
just so
to doing.
cheap. I've got one right here, actually. I should bring it. I should bring it out to the meetups more often. 'Cause I live down the road in
Hey,
the
nice.
city.
Which one's that one?
This is the $200 one from
Alright.
from China. That's how I can think about that one.
I'm thinking of building my own drone, like a FPV drone.
Oh, cool.
One
Yeah,
with the
yeah. You need the video
little
camera,
screen
yeah.
on the remote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're awesome. We're actually
I've seen
planning on doing drone racing in Perth.
VR with
That's where I'm
VR
from, by the way.
Yeah, with the VR, yeah. That's
Yeah.
VR headset.
So
That'd be
that's
so
something we've got to
cool.
tell Ian Wolf, who's our sort of science popularizer. He's got his own radio show, right, in Sydney.
Stars, man.
And yeah, he was trying to sell these like tiny little drones, but they didn't have cameras on it, right? So
Yeah,
that's the whole
I got
point.
one.
That's the whole, you're immersing yourself into the air and that sort of thing. That's the whole point. So you'll find some cameras and put them on the drone and sell it. Okay. I think that's everyone for intros. So moving on to the next part of the agenda. Look, we're trying to help the Future Party guys do their re-registration. So, if you checked out our website, the transhumanism.com.au website, I know you guys all signed up as members and all that. But also, we want to make sure that you're registered on the electoral roll. And also, Brendan, I missed you.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I missed you, Brendan. Sorry. Introduce.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sweet, cool. Yeah, hey, I'm Brendan. I've been interested in transhumanism for quite a long time now, mainly from a sci-fi, cyberpunk type, dystopian future type story. But my friend Leo and I were having many late night discussions, usually with alcohol. And we started getting into the real ideals of transhumanism. And then we met, and he introduced me to Peter. And then it was like, this is really, really awesome. So I thought, yeah, okay, this is good. I've been reading about singularity and artificial intelligence and all this stuff for many years. But when I heard about the Transhumanist Party, I thought, this is their chance to actually make a difference in the world, especially with the current load of dickheads in Parliament at the moment who are actively, either via incompetence or sheer malice, destroy the country and basically kill all the things that we hold dear. So I really, really wanted to get into this after they killed the NBN, because I thought that was a great missed opportunity for Australia, large infrastructure projects. And I suppose from my point of view, I've always been interested in politics. Paul Keating was my inspiration back when he was Treasurer. If anyone remembers those days with his Sunrise Industries and Multifunction Polis, which is very, very similar to the Futurist Party's idea of their city. And at that time, that's when I got into IT, and that's when I got into all the technology stuff that I do. I think I'm very passionate about this. I think together with the Futurist Party and maybe some of the other micro parties, I think we can form a coalition and basically have a good chance of actually winning, or at least gaining a few seats in the next federal election, and not be seen as some sort of a crazy far-out party, but actually using our knowledge of social media and way of actually technology to actually drawing ideas to people and grab them into the idea of transhumanism. And my first win was my neighbour. My neighbour's a liberal through and through, and every discussion I had with him has failed miserably because he shuts down any logical discussion with Liberal Party doctrine. But when I actually mentioned him the life extension technologies and the thing about the Transhumanist Party, he actually stopped shutting down debate and was actually interested. And I think if I can win that guy over, right, there's a chance for all of us to actually do this and grab people and win on a platform which people can understand in. And I think we're very, very rightly posed for this to actually make a difference with the current, I suppose, distrust of the current government policies. They keep digging that hole deeper. And I think we've got a good chance of actually, making a difference for the world. And even if we don't, we can actually pool our collective knowledges together to at least bring some of that technology that we see overseas and bring it here.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe not win, but maybe we can at least influence existing policy.
Yeah, definitely. Well said, Brendan. Every year that passes, this is going to become more and more relevant. And there's no other motivator apart from an existential risk, right? So, like your neighbor is facing his final years, right? And
Absolutely.
anyone, you're looking at very wealthy older generation, so that's a great market to target.
Oh, absolutely, because the current government report, I'm not sure which one it was, they were talking about large numbers of elderly who are now choosing to stay at home and die instead of going into homes, right? So the reason for that is because there's no safety for their pensions, right? There's no safety for their children on actually housing affordability. So they try to hold on to the house as long as possible and die at home and then pass the house on to their kids, bypassing the traditional thing. So that means that government policy has failed. Those people no longer trust the government to look after them when they get old, right? And those people are the people that can really, I suppose, we can win over, okay? Because they are afraid and we can listen to them. At least that's what I hope anyway.
It's actually pretty funny. A couple of, maybe it was the last election or the election before that when I was helping the Greens, I went to hand out a how to vote, and I said to the woman who was quite a bit older, oh, invest in the future, protect the environment, something like that. And she said, what do I care about investing in the future? I'm going to die anyway. So I think it might actually be a little bit of a hard sell for those people. But what it will be an easier sell for is for people who are, probably late 20s up to about late 50s, people who actually have a chance to see some of the stuff get implemented. If you're in your 50s, you have a fair chance that you're going to see the next 25 years or so of developments, and that might be enough to get you through to the end. So I know. I think when you look at the Future Party's membership base, and you look at the Transhumanist Party's membership base, the people who are getting attracted to it are young people, not old people. Every other party, you want to shoot stuff, it's old people. You want to drive four-wheel drives over the environment, you're looking at old people. But for young people, for the really future-focused parties, like the Transhumanist Party and the Future Party, it's definitely the young people. So appealing to those people, positioning yourself so that, like, they understand the importance of starting to do this now, so that in 30 years we have the outcomes we want, is, I think, the way to go.
Yeah.
But I think it's not a lost cause, because we've got the power of social media. We've also got the power of technology. Okay. Now, The problem I experience with old people is they don't understand the technology. They've lost touch with it, and they see it as something to be feared. Now, if we can get enough volunteers, and there's your problem, right? Volunteers, right? We get enough volunteers to actually go into these homes and actually demonstrate some of this technology to some of the old people. Maybe when they experience it and see what power it offers, they may understand. Maybe not helping them per se, but maybe helping their children or their grandchildren, and they can actually understand it. So there's a good TV channel, YouTube channel, which is elders play certain games. I don't know if anyone's seen it. No? Okay, YouTube it. It's elders do something, right? So it's a bunch of 5 or 6 old people. They're all about 60 or 70, and they get them to play virtual reality. They get them to play GTA 5, all sort of stuff, right? All the stuff that you think about old people wouldn't do. And a lot of them, at the beginning, they interview, they don't care, they don't know what it's about, they try it, and those people, their eyes light up like they'll kids.
I've seen it, that's right. I remember one where they were showing them 3D sex.
Exactly,
right.
that's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah, so we can do that, right? Now, the Futurist Party, Transhumanist Party, and whatever else we can get onto them, we can go and demonstrate that to those groups. They will understand the technology, not because we tell them, but because you show them. All right? So you tell them, they've got no concept in their head, no frame of reference to wrap their mind around. But if we demonstrate the technology to them, it'll click, just like it did with my neighbour. And as I said, it's a hard thing. I've been arguing for about 7 years now, right? So I think there's hope, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. When we were talking about how to desensitize the transhumanist sort of term as well to make it more open for everyone, and I think the more we use it, the resistance level is much lower. I mean, Jordan just heard about the term like recently, right? And I saw a documentary yesterday that Sarah Brown from Gold Coast pointed out. It's called The Death of Aging on SBS. And that was completely all about, the transhumanist values that we had. It was about, it had Aubrey de Grey, it had Peter Diamandis, and it had a whole bunch of other experts on sort of, life extension and biotech and those sort of things. But not a single time did they mention transhumanism in that whole documentary. So I think that's something we can actually, broadcast out and actually make this our thing. So anything to do with life extension or augmentation of the body.
It's pretty interesting that. I was doing the research when I was pitching a TV documentary, and it was for the ideas that I'd sort of collated on what could be created next, and it was probably like the 3rd round of the of the revisions that I actually came across the same and went, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
That's right.
I hadn't even actually used the proper word for it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And I mean, some people don't want to use the word, or sometimes it's too synonymous, like we mentioned before, the sort of transgender cult thing, and I don't know. It's something that we can definitely desensitize. I think, in my opinion, like if we can just bring it out, all out marketing. And one of the good points that the global guys have come up with that, you can only measure your success through the amount of money raised, right? For example, I think that's what the longevity cookbook is actually getting at. I think that's how we're going to measure success. And membership as well for political parties, that's your measure of success, right? Registered members who are on the electoral roll that will, say that they are pledging their vote for you. And that's something we're trying to do here now as well. Trevor's got a comment here. You're thinking linearly. An ASI can converse with individuals on a one-to-one basis. A God that answers prayers and explains itself in a way that resonates with the individual. Exactly. See, we're not thinking of all the possibilities because we're biological. We're now sort of limited thinking, right? Well said, Trev. See, I work with Trev every day, and this is the sort of coffee conversations we have. So on that point of measuring success, I would really good to direct you to the Trello page. Has everyone seen it? Let me do a live demo. Let me share my screen here. Share.
Yeah, I think it's limited by people who have access to it.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not in it, but I'm happy to look at your screen.
my
Yep,
laptop.
there you go. Yep. Well, it's doing the Inception thing where it's like, yeah, it shows you what my
Crazy.
screen is done. Yeah, that's right. So this is what it looks like. Let me add you there, James. Leader at future.
By the way, how was that quote? Well, there's few t-shirt slogan ideas.
Oh yeah, I like that. So we've got quite a few ideas here going. Oh, you already got Trello, okay? Yeah, it's quit while you're ahead, for longevity and anti-smoking ad. I think something else from Rafe as well. It's like he's going, okay, well, why quit? We can live forever, right? So if you got lung cancer, the technology is going to catch up and fix it for you. Dude.
Like smoking robots.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so if you don't have access, leave a comment with your email down below, and I'll add you to the group. So I'm going to create a new list now here. Let me know if you guys can't see my screen. So I'm going to say AE. So this is the Australian electoral. Confirmed. And I'm just going to put in sort of the confirmations I've seen already. So I'll direct you guys to the website. Let me see registration. It's going to be tabs here. And this is check your enrollment. Right, so this is what James has been doing with and his team has been doing. So I'm trying to help out this Sunday as well to do some calls. But this is the sort of process you got to go through, right? The Australian Electoral website has this one check, and if you have a list of names and suburbs, you have to do this sort of manually to check their enrollment as well as confirm if they still want to be part of your party. Now, I know some people have figured out a sort of shortcut or a script for it. I'm sure guys like Trevor, who's a solutions architect, as well as Stefan, who's also a solutions architect, they figured out ways to get around it. But at the same time, it's so hard to get everyone to confirm that they're still willing to say that they're a member of a political party when they get called up by the AAC. So I'm just going to get everyone to spread the word here and just write their names here. For example, Peter Zing, I'm going to put my name here. I'm going to check on my electoral roll, Zing, Peter, postcode 2140, and it's Homebush West. So this is the check which suburb you're in. And I am on Kurali, so it automatically tells you which street you're on. Type in this I am not a robot check. Verification. I am not verified. Wait, 2140. Kurali Avenue. What have I done? Oh, there we go.
You're giving away your address publicly online here, Peter.
I know, right? I know. That's right. It doesn't say the full address, right? So, and that's a new development. There's about 2,000 people in that block. Okay. So
Okay.
it could be any person, and that's where my registered place is. Anyway, I'm in the city, guys. This is down the road. Anyway, so that's how you check you are enrolled, right? So given name, family name, street address, and locality. And once you've done that check, just pop your name down here, and then we'll put that list. Let me drag this up to the very front so it seems important. Because the future party guys are up for re-registration on this 12th of June. Is that? Oh, sorry. 12th of June. When is that, James?
So it has to be at the AEC by the 24th of June.
Okay.
But obviously we're going to need to have it in have things finalized a fair bit earlier, because we need to format it and make sure that it's all okay. But yeah, just so that people understand what happens if you end up being a member of the future party, we don't make any distinction about membership levels for people who are in the Transhumanist Party. So as long as the Transhumanist Party isn't formally set up, you have the full rights of a future party member, including the ability to vote in annual general meetings and to stand as a member of parliament if you get nominated. So yeah, please feel free to join. Once the Transhumanist Party stuff is getting off the ground, obviously we can talk about moving you out into the Transhumanist Party.
Hopefully by then we'll have tens of thousands of members, right? Enough buffer for both of us to be able to just conquer, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
You're relying on the exponential functions there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of accelerating returns. Come on. No, this is going to become more and more relevant as people see it from year to year. And okay, so and I'm just showing you guys here the vote pledge website that you guys have kindly already clicked on. So thanks for that. And this is the edit page function. So if you go in there, you can make any additions to the website. So for example, if you go to the website, you can say, look, these are all the pages we've got. You can edit our, so for example, our science page, H plus science, and content. So you can just type all the stuff in here. So I've got some, let it load a bit. I've got just a little blurb. I've got some YouTube video links, and that automatically includes the video onto the website. And there's Ian Wolf's website, Diffusion Science Radio. So he's got his own radio channel that talks about heaps of cool stuff, and there's a lot of material there as well. Look at him cover all these ones. Okay, so that's the website. This is Trello, where I'll get you guys to confirm on the AAC website, and this is Lumio. All right, so Lumio is our political discussion group and voting online open democracy platform. So right now we've got one of the sound bites going on, which is what we wanted to put on the website. So go check it out. Michael Vescova is is a very eloquent guy, and don't bother about formatting. Just get your mind dumps in there, and we'll pick out what's good and put it onto the website. Okay. All right. Now open it up to the floor for any other discussions. Oh, who wants to go? Amit, I know you're not drunk yet, so we can leave that. No Nazis for now, okay?
Actually, just one question.
Yep.
So, if you want to run for Parliament, okay, so the party gets registered. How do individual people get nominated / get voted upon as a Parliament? That's one for you, James.
Yeah, it's one for you, James.
Oh, do you mean for the Future Party?
Oh, Future Party or Transhumanist Party, it doesn't matter. Like, so, for instance, we're registering the party, all right? You've got your party. So, if once the thing gets to 500 members, how do individual members within your party or our party get to run as actual electoral people to be on the roll?
Okay, so there's a few steps to this. The way that the member is nominated is you've got these roles in the party. It's called the registered officer. The registered officer is in charge of communicating with the AEC to nominate candidates. So instead of getting all the signatures together to get a nomination to happen, you get the registered officers to say, yes, this is a member of the party. It's endorsed. They're endorsed by the party. Please accept this nomination. Now, it costs money. It costs a lot of money, actually. It costs $2,000 per upper house candidate. So in the Senate, you need to have at least 2 to get a box above the line. So for in each state you want to run in, it's $4,000. That's just for the Senate. If you want to run in the lower house, it's $1,000 per candidate. So there's a lot of seats. So it's a lot of money. Like a lot of money. So if you can imagine like what we did last time, for the federal election, we had 2 upper house and 2 lower house. So that was, is it 1,000 or 500? I can't remember. Anyway, that was $5,000 or $6,000 that we spent just on nomination fees. No promotion, nothing like that. For the state election, to get our upper house ticket on the ballot, cost us $5,000. Yeah, I can see the chat box there, Rafe. It's pretty expensive. as to how you become the nominated candidate for the party, it's going to be different between the parties, obviously. Now, the Future Party has a more centralized decision-making structure, and we do that because it's very difficult to vet candidates. Like, you need to have someone go up to that member and say, are they capable of being a candidate for the party, essentially? And it's a bit hard to get people to vote on people who you don't even know who they are, and that's what's going to happen pretty much in that first election that you run in. You're going to have a lot of new people who don't know each other very well. So in our case, for the upper house, we have a vote of the membership for each state. They get to vote for the upper house. And for the lower house, if there's no local member, if there's no local group, then the executive of the federal party gets to decide on who runs in that seat, if there's a person running at all. It's very much a financial decision, so obviously, the executive has to have that financial say over who runs or not. Obviously you guys have a bit of a different idea about how you choose members, but yes, even though it is centralized, I think most people who have participated in the Future Party realize that almost all of the decision making that's done is actually through consensus. Like, we'll negotiate until we come to a point where most people feel fairly happy about what's happening.
Yeah, it feels like, it is like that from the meetings that I've been to.
Yeah, and ultimately, the way that we're structured, if the executive and the leadership isn't doing a good job, then someone can challenge and sack myself and the rest of the executive of the party. So there's a lot
Politics
of
101.
Exactly. There's a lot of incentive for me to make sure that the membership is satisfied, basically.
No, thanks for that, James.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and
So we need money.
Yeah, that's right. And that's sort of while I was looking at the bigger companies. Oh, I got some feedback. Yeah, I was just looking at the what Google's doing with Google Venture and looking at all those sort of billionaires that are looking at this. So there's definitely a market out there that wants to do this sort of research, and we've just got to find a way to tie it, and that's what sort of Zoltan is trying to push for. He's got lots of billionaire friends that he can that'll actually be interested. So his political party is an experiment in the US to see if that will get some traction, and if it does get some traction, his billionaire friends will actually help support for the next campaign. So it's a very long-term play, and that sort of money is actually being dedicated to the sort of research and life extension and transhumanist agendas. Oh, hello. Hey, babe.
He's back. Is that money, like, the commitment of money? It's coming through now, right? Like, they're putting money down now to promote the party, aren't they?
No, there's
really?
nothing happening. Yeah, he's actually just.
All right.
Huffington Post.
That's a bit of a shame, because in reality, the first bit of doing a party is the hardest and the most expensive. Yeah. So just for context, and I gave this talk to the people who wanted to start the science party a few years ago. To get us up to 500 members cost us about $16,000. To do promotion and to pay for the various systems that we needed to have in place, to pay for the registration, all that kind of stuff. So, like, it's extremely expensive first up. So, yeah, I mean, you can earn your money instead of asking for handouts, but ultimately, wherever you're getting your money from, it's a handout, right? Whether it's a billionaire or whether it's like getting all your POV student friends to drop in $20, like it's a handout. It is straight up give me money because I think that's a good idea. So if they're really serious about it, they really should be putting up the money straight away, because you know,
that's right.
I dropped a small fortune myself on the future party. Yeah, and that was just to get us registered. No promotion for the election itself.
Yeah, no, that's the sort of thing, you know, it's a lot of investment, and you know, it's a social experiment as well, and I think you've done very well to actually have that platform now, right? You know, to have that sort of sustainability going forward.
Yeah, I think we've got to a point where we can keep going and keep growing, and like we had to do a lot of crazy experiments to work out what worked and what didn't. You know, management is a huge deal. Like, not, I mean, this group is great because everyone can get in and everyone can have a say, but like, once you get to a party of a certain size, you've got a lot of roles which are extremely complicated. You need to have labor specialization to look after certain things. You know, social media. You need someone who's in charge of that alone. You need someone who's in charge of managing IT. You need someone who's in charge of doing media. You need someone who's in charge of dealing with the AEC. All of this stuff is just straight up work, and it needs to be managed, and that's something that was very hard. So we actually previously we used Trello, and it was really hard to manage a big organization. Yeah, it just doesn't have the right setup for it. Like it doesn't.
Asana's actually really good. I like Asana. I might have a look at that. That'd be really good.
It's pretty good. It's expensive, but like, in order to get organized, it's a really good system. So,
cool.
You know.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's really helpful. Which is why, you know, we're saying, you know, we're better together, right? Which is sort of the motto of the whole meeting as well. Anyway, so all right, enough admin talk, and you know, non-profit as well as, you know, political parties as well. Let's talk about the cool stuff you guys seen in the news, right? What are some of the trending things happening in you know, transhumanist agendas? Anyone want to have a go?
3D printing. Right. The 3D printing is absolutely exploding. Okay. So you know, it was inaccessible to the general people before. Now 3D printers are just absolutely everywhere, and I see very, very shortly that they're going to be one on every desk, basically. Not just yet, but it's happening. They're becoming cheap. I just bought one, right, on Kickstarter, the TPAU, which will be arriving in January. That cost me $179 US. Yeah, sorry, what's that?
Yeah, I got the ticker as well.
Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, so that's a cheap 3D printer, right? So that's 179 US. They end up costing me 225, and then whatever shipping's going to cost. And you know, it looks like a pretty decent 3D printer, right? Now, next year, hopefully, they'll all be roughly the same price, right? There's 3D milling machines, there's 3D printing machines, there's a new 3D printer just been announced, which actually has different heads, which allows you to do PLA ABS. It also does granulized particles. So in other words, you can recycle your own bottles and turn it into filament, right? But you can print all different types of materials out. So either using specialized granule stuff, right? Which I've never seen in a 3D printer before. There's a third head, which I just can't remember what it was. But I see 3D printing as something that's really, really going to explode soon, and it's going to have metal materials. It's going to have a real big impact on the way we do things. China's announced that they're going to have a 3D printer in every school in China. I think they're going to have more than one in either school, but at least they've got a policy on it.
I was supposed to
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and then if everyone's read Neil Stephenson's Diamond Age, you can see where the future will be when 3D printers start doing, say, molecular printing, right? And then basically scarcity, the problem of scarcity will be solved. Now that's a long time ahead, but I mean that's where hopefully we can take it.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're trying to head. Yeah, and I'm just sharing my screen here. Oh, sorry, feedback. Just sharing my screen here on all the sort of exponential technologies that we talk about, that we mean when we talk about transhumanism. So we've got AI here on the website. Oh, got some feedback there. And I've got I've put in the top tweets from Twitter. So right now it's sort of everything that's trending on AI. I'm just putting down here, and I've got some introductory videos to show what we mean. And obviously we've got Ray Kurzweil. Robotics. Yeah, this is for. There you go. So we'll probably see Jordan here mentioned probably eventually. Here we go. All things here. What is this? Can you guys see this? Does that come through?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So robotics, biotech. So feel free to edit and add to this website when you can, when you want, or just share it. There's a lot of stuff on stem cells, bioprinting. Yeah. Quantum computing. So that's probably the next exponential technology. Because once that hits, all the sort of cybersecurity stuff is going to be out the door.
Yeah, well, actually, the quantum computing, it's very application specific, so it's not really for general computing. It's not like a super powerful computer. I mean, you can run on like a single, with a single clock cycle, you can run like an infinite amount of operations if your quantum processor has an infinite amount of qubits. So, it's not really going to revolutionize the world in ways I think we think it will at the moment, but it will have a huge impact on society. But I think it's more on the mathematical optimization problems and encryption and things like that, not the real front end. We won't have a quantum-powered iPhone ever. I don't think that's the way it really works.
I agree and kind of disagree, Bo. The reason why is because the optimization element of quantum computers means that when an algorithm is faced with a lot of different like probabilities that form a connection of information, it can come up with a result more quickly. So if you've got a prediction engine that works out what people are saying and when the iPhone should be paying attention and what it means, like it has to do a lot of these very similar calculations over and over again and optimize for what's the best outcome. I mean, the thing is that there's no programmer for this stuff, right? Like no one even knows how to write this stuff at the moment. They can use quantum programs to like work out what the best, how to work out the two factors of a number or something like that. I mean, there's an algorithm for that. But apart from that, like this is extremely complicated stuff. So if you've got a physics degree and you know something about programming, I think, yeah, it would. I mean, it will be able to do that stuff.
Yeah,
I think it'll be useful,
We'll
right?
be big AI and machine learning. Absolutely groundbreaking for AI and machine learning. Like that's the hardest job with machine learning is these hard optimization problems. That's the whole intelligence. Is optimizing and finding the most optimal answer / prediction to whatever. and the quantum computers will just absolutely be kick-ass for AI and machine learning algorithms.
Yeah, exactly. Especially for, I mean, I did a bit of neural network stuff, and basically the issue with it is you just have to do the same calculation over and over again until you get the right result.
Yeah.
It's basically like a really, really complicated optimization problem. And when you've got quantum computing, and you set it up properly, you know, you'll be able to create generalized algorithms using neural networks very quickly, which would be, you know, it's going to revolutionize computing.
Yeah, well, Trevor's actually looking at the open sort of courses on that, and he's done quite a few of those on Coursera, machine learning, for example, as well as the Stanford one.
I'm doing
Trevor,
right now, actually.
Cool. You're doing the Stanford one, Bo? Oh, great. Why don't you guys share notes? Because Trevor's got like this big hard drive of all the stuff today.
That'd be great.
Hard drive sounds old school, right, Trev? Trevor, you still there? Trevor? You want to elaborate on your learnings throughout? You know, Trevor's... How old are you, Trev? You're like 55?
60.
What? Get out of town. You look like a day over. Jeez. 60.
Yeah, so I'm one of these Neanderthals that you were talking about.
I tell you what, you're more tech savvy than all of us, except you don't hold a smartphone. I think that's the only thing that tells you that you're 60, because it's got a battery better than all of us.
Yes, well, mine lasts a week, but I'm a shareholder of Tesla, so...
Fantastic. Getting your touchscreen car.
Trev, tell us about your learning.
Which part?
On the machine intelligence, deep learning, and what you're doing with the NLP side of things?
Okay, well, basically, if you go to Coursera, you can get lots of courses, basically the exact same courses that they're teaching at Stanford for free. And you have class sizes of about 10,000 people.
They gave you a free trial to MATLAB. I was really happy about that when I signed up for the machine learning course.
Well, you also have Octave, which is an open source MATLAB, and you've got R, which is all open source. You've got Python, which is probably not used as much, but open source.
Python. You're saying it's
Python, it's great. We've used it a lot.
Ah, good.
But if you do those courses, you'll actually see what the current kind of state of the technology is. And things like quantum computers, as I said, you can deep learning is all very simple. In fact, you were saying that to effectively learn neural networks is relatively simple algorithms, just done in parallel, and a lot of them. So the faster your computers, you know, the bigger the sort of problems that you can solve, or the number of parameters that you can, or features, input parameters you can effectively handle. So if you can start getting up to, I think it's about 300 million, you're starting to get human intelligence.
This is how we get there, right, Trev?
So, you know, it's pretty well just looking at Moore's law. You can tell when the ASI is going to come into existence.
Yeah. Because
simply by power. It's nothing to do with complexity or algorithm or, you know, kind of major sort of breakthrough. It's just, you know, quantity and speed.
Yeah. There is a little bit of the algorithm though, because I mean, neural networks are very like extremely useful. You can use them to discover new algorithms. Like if you want to sort lists, you can give, you know, an input list and an output list, and you can tell the neural network to sort the list, and it'll eventually learn how to do it, given a large enough neural network. But the thing is that you have to specify what your input is and your output is, and you need to have enough data in order to get there. And so there's it is actually a little bit about the algorithm, because you either need to come up with an algorithm that does something like what you want the behavior to be, or you need to start just collecting lots of information to put into it. So there's a little bit of a complication there. I think that we aren't working fast enough on the software side to fully take advantage of the computational power to bring us to the singularity as fast as, what's his name says it?
Ray Kurzweil, yeah.
Kurzweil, yeah. He's a little bit early on that. There's a little bit of algorithm stuff that needs to be fixed, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, definitely.
Yeah, it's just an algorithm that we haven't figured out yet.
Power in the world, man. Plenty of processing power.
Now, this is
That's
what
right.
Peter and I are about to find out with Watson.
Yeah, see, when we're looking at the human brain, we don't know enough about it to emulate it fully, right? But at the same time, it is driven by an underlying algorithm that we just haven't figured out yet. And hopefully, with the tools of today to build with the tools of tomorrow, we'll slowly get there, or at least something thereabouts, which is the scary part, right? If we get thereabouts, it doesn't have the same morality as people, obviously, and that's where we have this discussion about AI.
Put it this way, I was meant to have gone to Stanford back in 1980 or something to do AI. Luckily, I didn't, because it didn't happen. And in the 90s, effectively, you started being able to have OCR. In other words, you were able to recognize or read numbers, basically, and that virtually revolutionized the postal system, where you could virtually have that was, only 15 years ago.
Wasn't Kurzweil behind a lot of the OCR stuff as well?
Yeah, he was actually, or he's more a front man. He's more an innovator, not so much the doer. But yeah, he's the one that certainly
He did a couple of things.
Got post offices and all the rest to actually start using this stuff. In fact, in what it must have been about 97 or whatever, I was involved in getting the Australian laws changed to allow digital images of prospectuses for Bankers Trust. In other words, before that you had to have paper documents that were signed and archived and falling apart with paper lice and all the rest. Once you could have digitized versions of documents recognized in law, then that opened the world up to OCR. And from that, we effectively were able to do virtually increase our productivity by about 1,000%. And again, this was in '97. And it was pretty well, very simple neural networks, basically.
Yeah, that's the Jan LeCun one. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we've virtually got driverless cars. In other words, you're seeing, exponential growth happening very, very quickly, which means, and now a lot of money's starting to be put into it in a lot of different areas. And it's really just a matter of capacity. It was like Deep Blue winning world chess. It wasn't, wasn't a complicated sort of algorithm. It was able to look 20 moves ahead.
And every other possibility. Yeah. The poor guy. That's what his thing. That was his thing. And same with Watson in Jeopardy, right? That was his thing, right? He was good at one thing, and they took it away from him. So we're seeing that in the legal industry as well, which is what we're trying to work at the moment. So there's a lot of legal futurists that see this coming, because lawyers just there's so much documents that you can't get to, right? It's always medical. And those sort of things can be automated with this technology.
Well, it's just like Google at the moment. When you start typing in words, it seems to know what you're thinking, and that's simply because it can now look at something like 7 grams. In other words, it has the history of all the Google books that they've analysed, all the data that people put in, and it's just all volume. In other words, 5 years ago, you just couldn't have done it. You had the most you could handle was, say, 3 grams. Now you can handle about 7 grams. Now, it's 7 words in a row, basically. And that in itself appears a hell of a lot more intelligent. So once you get to, say, 20 or 30 grams, you know, things start looking extremely intelligent.
Back to the brain stuff before you were talking about, Peter. I watched a really interesting Google Tech Talk on quantum computing and quantum physics and that kind of stuff. And the guy was talking about this thing. It was a really theoretical kind of idea, but he called it kind of a quantum box, like a thing that sits in the brain that solves really hard optimization problems. That like our brain feeds hard optimization problems into, and it solves them and then pops out the answers back into it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And,
It's cool, yeah.
it was really interesting the reason why he said that it could be reality is because the neurons in the brain, they undergo really large-scale coherence, and at the speed at which they go into coherence is physically impossible, like electrodynamic.
Yeah, that's true.
Hear that fast.
Yeah,
So there's
I mean, there's
some sort of
theory
quantum
out there.
box.
That's right, the quantum brain. Yeah, you see that in a lot of sci-fi movies as well. It's like, oh, how did you figure out AI? Yeah, we figured out
The brain is quantum.
certain areas of it. Yeah.
Like a
I
module.
haven't found proof of it yet. Yeah, I haven't found proof of it yet. Probably, we'll know better when we have better measuring instruments. But yeah, that's one of the theories out there.
Yeah,
But I find a lot of things.
I think
explain.
what you said before with the quantum, right? There's some recent research on how anesthetics actually work to actually put people into unconsciousness. And they've found out that it's a terahertz signal in the brain that's set up like a some sort of feedback loop, okay? In the brain, it's a resonance frequency or something like that. And anyway, the actual anesthetic, when that actually goes into your brain, it actually upsets that frequency and changes it, and that's how people go to sleep. So they think that there's actually lends evidence to the fact that your brain does actuate at some level and quantum level as well.
That's really cool. I like
So I'll
that.
see if I can find that research paper for you.
Yeah,
That's really cool. Yeah, let's chuck it all on Trello. Let's for now. We'll make a big noise out of it, and then we'll probably move to Asana when we get big enough.
Talking about your robots, has anyone been following the DARPA challenge?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right, so they've actually got out, like the robots are not tethered this year, and one of them actually finally got out of the car.
The best part of the DARPA challenge is seeing them fall over.
Yeah, Eric showed it to me today, actually. Oh, was it yesterday? Maybe yesterday. Yeah, that was funny.
That's right.
But it was cool. They actually got out of car. They actually got out of the car now, and they've actually untethered. And I mean, that's a lot different from last year. Still boring as hell. I mean, they all take a really, really long time to do anything. But you can see it, right?
Yeah, and you can see that, year on year, it goes from that sort of deceptive phase, and then it becomes destructive and catches everyone off guard. Everyone's like, robot can't even get out of a car, or can't even.
Is that something that the
stand upright.
Transhumanist Futurist Party may be able to bring to Australia? Something like
Exactly.
that.
Definitely.
I know there's an Outback challenge that one of my mates is involved in, which is using UAVs to drop safety bottles next to hypothetical lost people.
Yeah.
But,
well, Google did that Project Wing in the Outback Australia when they delivered sort of emergency medical things over to the farmers, as well as dog treats and that sort of thing. But that's how Project Wing got to it. So it's in Australia. Quite a few things happening in Australia.
Yeah, but what I saw about the DARPA, which I really thought is a good idea for us, is the DARPA challenge had all the big robots, but they also had all the small ones for the kids to play on, right? So you got all the kids playing with their Lego Mindstorms and their own other types of robots, and you could see the kids' eyes light up so well, right? So you got the big robots, and you got there playing with them.
That's right. You see the CJIT one, the demonstration, how they were, the soccer game one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, getting kids actually, getting them to make a movement happening here at the university, as well as TAFE, as well as in the high schools and primary schools. I think that's what we've got to set our mind to as well. Lego Mindstorm. Yeah, that's right. That was pretty awesome. and Minecraft as well.
Back in primary school, I used to teach, like, run like a little class in my primary school and teach everyone how to use the Mindstorms. Good fun. I love them. So much fun.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's definitely, so it should be on our agenda as well. I mean, promoting sort of getting kids interested in this sort of thing. Would be really cool. All right. Oh, Eric has joined us. Eric, where'd he go? No, Eric?
He doesn't have a microphone.
Ah, it's okay.
But he's
Anyway.
listening intently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so that's that. That's the robotics side. What else have we got? Oh, yeah. I guess if you guys, I think it was meant to chat on waiting for Sam Barton from Brisbane to join us as well. So Sam's going to be our poster boy up in Brisbane. We've decided from the first meeting that him in a poster that Leo posted of him holding that African child, like, is the ultimate sort of vote bait, right? So we thought, you got to check out the Facebook group. But
Yeah, I remember that was funny. Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys haven't checked it out, go find it on Facebook. It's hilarious. And yeah, so that's I think that's all I got on the agenda for today. If Sam doesn't show up, we can just keep on chatting. My girlfriend's not back, so I'm still filling out here. Let me know if you guys want to have anything else on the agenda next time in a couple of weeks. And it'd be really good to help out the future party as much as we can as part of their re-registration. So, James, do you want to put anyone, send anyone a link if they want to help out?
I mean, we can. Well, I can put the join form, the Nation Builder join form, in. Yep. We discovered that there may be a bug in it. Yeah, the last 30 or so members appear to have not got their suburbs registered for some reason. I don't know if you've had that problem with your Nation Builder, because we actually had to get custom forms.
Like as in it doesn't even show up the suburb anymore. Right?
Yeah. So look, I mean, if you want to join, just fill out here. We may end up having to contact you again.
Yeah, that's right.
to check that you have actually got your address listed properly. But yeah, join up.
Yeah, it's probably easier that way than me porting it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just fill it out tonight if you feel like it. Yeah, it'll really help us a lot.
James, just while on that, what sort of advertising or I suppose how have the Futures Party been getting their message out on social media or other places?
So advertising is good. The modern world of advertising is brilliant. I mean, like, you can buy $1 worth of advertising if you want. That's weird, right? When you think about what it used to be like with political parties like Labor Party, they used to have to buy $30,000 TV spots. Now I can buy $1 worth of Facebook time. But we ended up spending, like, for a while there, $1,000 a day on YouTube advertising.
What?
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So, I mean, you can look at some of our advertisements. They're a bit cheesy and old. We just bring up Future Party Australia YouTube.
Let's put on a non-cheesy one. It's for $1,000 a day. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't. The reason why they're cheesy is because they're old. Sorry, what was that?
It's almost unjustifiable because you're not making money back from it. It's not a product you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, like, you do advertising because you're forcing people to look at things that they wouldn't otherwise, right? Whether you're a company or you're a political party. So I mean, think about it like this: if you've got a political party and you've got maybe 15 people running it, and you want to put a flyer in the hands of people, right? 10 cents per flyer. And it would take you, like, you might drop off 100 flyers an hour.
I get you now. I get you.
Right? It's
exponent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not allowed to say how much I pay for my advertising because it's in the YouTube terms of service or AdWords terms of service. But I can tell you that it's close to around about half of what a flyer would cost. You know, and you get a lot more engagement, and you can see straight away, you know, how many people have looked at it, how many people clicked on your website, like, and you link it up to your website analytics. And you can do the connection, but I can tell you it's extremely expensive.
Yeah, I didn't think of any of that. That sounds really great then.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much better than handing out flyers. So much better than handing out flyers. You know, you can target it. You think about it. People walking down the street, they don't care about like science and technology. But you can go on YouTube and you can find that person who watches all of, like, you know, the science videos.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's the perfect way to get people who are relevant to your organization, you know, to see your stuff. And you can do it so cheaply.
Cool. Thanks for that. What about some of the free type services and stuff like that?
Free services?
Yeah. So one of the ideas I was having, and again, I have a lot of ideas, and it says it only when you start talking to people and finding how stupid they are that you find out if they're good or not, right? So, for instance, we're the kings of social media, right? We use it, right? So, is there a way of actually getting your message out to other people, right? So, for instance, you've got all these charity events. If you could actually sponsor some charity events and get the name out, sponsored by blah, or helped in, like we donate some time and all that sort of stuff, you might be able to get the message out there, and then people actually know who you are for very little money. Would that actually be a legitimate way of doing it?
I don't know how much you're going to get a sponsorship for, naming rights for stuff. I don't know. Yeah. It's pretty expensive.
I know, because I've seen people do it. They give small prizes, right? You go to a school, you get yourself stuck on the newsletter, you donate services, you get the message out there, because I think that there's two things I find when I try to talk politics to anybody. One is people don't care, and the other one is people never heard of you, right? So if I ask anyone who the Transhumanist Party is that doesn't know the circles, they wouldn't have heard of us. And even your party, who's actually been around, no one knows who you are either, right? So
yeah,
the people who know who we are, who know you are, that vote, I think, at least from my trivial thought on it, it should be fairly easy to grab, right? Because they're the people you can engage with. It's the people who've never heard of you, and people that think that you're a freak because you're either from the Futurist Party or the Transhumanist Party, and they just write you off before they even hear your policies.
Yeah. So I guess the issue with this is, like, what level of political engagement are we aiming for, and how do you achieve it? So I see small parties like the Future Party and the Transhumanist Party. In the first instance, everyone's dropping off. Can people hear me?
Yeah, I just put myself on mute. Yeah.
Okay, cool. In the first instance, we're trying for like 1 or 2 seats. It would, that's amazing. If you get elected, anyone elected, it's a
struggle to get seats, and everyone knows who they are. They've been around for ages.
Exactly, right? So you need to do that first step. Get 1 or 2 people elected. In order to get that, you need a small proportion of the population to know who you are and to be very interested in it. So you're not going to get your rusted on right-wing Liberal Party supporter who's voted that way all their life. You're going to have to target your audience to the part of the population which is going to be primed for what you're talking about. I think that the Transhumanist Party has a bit of a harder job on that, because like the Future Party has a lot of different things that it talks about. So we're very into science and technology. We're also into education, which is a very big topic for a lot of people. It's the #1 issue for women in New South Wales in the last election. So we've got that, and we've also got a very detailed economic reform agenda, if you've been following us. So we've got a lot of different ways that we can hit people, and when people ask a question about certain topics, we've got that there. So you need to have a broad range of policies to get people interested. I don't know, like it's a maths game, right? Like there's maybe 15% of people who are up for grabs who are going to vote for minor parties and who are going to vote in your direction. And you've got to appeal to all of them to get a senator elected, essentially. In order to get to that point where people know a lot about you, you have to have people who are really excitable, people who are not actually us a lot of the time, people who sit behind their computer screens and are reading about all this stuff and like, oh yeah, it's great, like you actually have to have people who are willing to walk up to someone and say, hey, have you heard about the Transhumanist Party? It's really great, and you've got to sell it. You've got to be really emphatic. It can't just be like, oh yeah, we got good policy and that's great. Like, you have to be a true believer, and you have to talk like a true... Sorry?
Can't be a skeptic.
Well, no, you can be a skeptic. What I mean by that is you have to be fully sold on the idea of the party. It's a little bit different to being a skeptic, because like we're very skeptical in our party. Like we're constantly reanalyzing our own policy. Like, does it still apply? Does it make sense? But like, in order to build the party, you need to get people to say, yes, I really love this party, and the reason why I do is because of evidence-based policy. That's something that people talk about a lot when it comes to the Future Party. And when you get people who feel very, very strongly about that, then they're going to sell it. And the people who are selling it to start off with have to very strongly believe in that concept, right? Whatever it is you're selling, you need to strongly believe in that concept, and you need to have the time and the guts to go out and actually sell it to people, to randomly walk up to people. Maybe, wear a t-shirt and have a flyer so people understand that you're doing it.
Try to look as normal as possible.
Sorry?
Try to look as normal as possible.
Try to look as normal as possible. And when you get the chance...
Freaks.
Yeah. Don't get your transhuman, body modification before you go on a run for some of your policies.
No, but I don't think it's that far out, because look, the Transhumanists and the Futurist Party I see are almost identical on policies anyway, right? We've got a couple of more. You got a couple of different, but basically you all want the same thing, right? Best of Australia, education, decent policy, and I hope less corruption, right? It's all the things that all people want, right?
That's my thing. Corruption, man.
Sorry?
Corruption. Like the biggest problem I think that faces all of humanity.
Got feedback at the moment.
Yeah. So I was just going to say that you're right. If we can get rid of corruption, we can make our policies good. Then I think we've got a chance, right? I think really good opportunity, especially for the Futurist Party and Transhumanists Party at the moment, right, is the fact that the Liberal policy, Joe Hockey especially, keeps digging deeper and deeper, right? That hole's getting deeper and deeper. I see even the Liberal people getting upset with them. Um, and the Nationals. The Nationals is absolute classic because the coalition can never win an election by themselves, right? The Liberal Party can't win. They require the Nationals, and they're getting screwed by just about every policy the Liberals do, especially the Trans-Pacific Partnership and the free trade, right? So there's an opportunity for our parties, to actually go out and win those votes, right? Because they're disenfranchised.
Yeah, you have to appeal to them though. Like just because they're disenfranchised with the Nationals doesn't mean they're going to vote for you.
No. But
You know, I don't think that the Future Party is capable of winning a lot of those votes because we take a fairly anti-nationalist stance because we think it's bad for the world, right, to be
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess what the point of getting involved in the politics, the political system like this, is to actually to capture some of the people who are really disenfranchised on our side. So there are people in the Greens who really dislike their stance with regards to scientific research, who really disagree with a lot of their economic policy, but are generally sort of environmentally and future thinking people. They're going to be attracted to the Future Party. You know, I guess those are some of the same types of people that are going to be attracted to the Transhumanist Party. You know, it's going to be a bit of a slightly different demographic that you're going for. I guess that's something you need to talk about, right? Like, who is your demographic? Like, who are you going to focus on first to grow, to get members, to get volunteers, to get money? Those are the sort of things that people need. So, well, you know, the Transhumanist Party needs to work out.
cool, thank you.
Sorry, I was typing a response to Amit's question here. To Amit, nationalism. It's bad because it promotes too much of a closed. What's the word? Getting tired. It's
Well,
too
so
closed.
the reason why nationalism is bad is
Yeah.
because it makes people do things for really irrational reasons. So if you say, "Oh, we don't want, you know, food to come from one place," or "We don't want workers to come from one place because that will be bad for us," like that's ignoring all of the benefits that come through greater connection between people. Like, nationalism is quite often based in xenophobia, like, and doing things for racist reasons is a really, really bad reason to do it. Like, you know, I guess if you look at the world economy, and what's happened over the last 30 years. And all of the stuff that people said about, like, workers are going to get screwed over, you know, if you lower the tariffs on bringing in imported products, then all of our workers are going to be having troubles, you know, they're not going to have jobs, we're going to have a worse quality of life, and all of that has turned out to be false. Every single element of that. It's turned out to be false for us, and it's turned out to be false for the third world. Because what we did by opening our borders is we made it so that we could access cheap labour because that labour wasn't being utilised, and that labour that wasn't being utilised suddenly is employed, so their quality of life goes up as well. So all of this sort of like being scared about what's going to happen to the world when we're better friends with each other is, you know, when we're doing more trade with each other, it just doesn't make sense. Like you can go all the way to worldwide like open borders, you know, in terms of trade, or right down to the individual. Like, can you imagine if you had to sit in your room and you had to come up with a computer from scratch? Like, you'd never do it.
Never do it.
You need to have things like economies of scale, labor specialization, you know, just people who are willing to do things that you're not. Like, and those people who are absolutely willing to do those things, you know. People talk a lot about what happens in the third world, like, oh, I'll never get a shirt made in the third world. Apart from the fact that most people are wearing a shirt from the third world, like, all you're doing is taking away that person's job. Unless, you know, obviously you want to avoid slave labor, but you really should give money to people who want to sell you products. So
Yeah, I agree with you, definitely. I'm just reading Amit's comments on the side.
yeah.
The free trade, I think corporations benefit on the other front. It's anti-free trade because they control all the supply lines, and then people in third world countries can't sell things off their farms because they don't have an in to the economy.
You look at what's happening in Africa at the moment. Like, it's in poverty. You know why? One of the reasons why it's in poverty at the moment?
They can't sell any of it.
Because they can't sell their bloody farming products to Europe. Europe is like, nah, it's just us, just nice European stuff. Don't want any of that stuff from those countries which we don't like. It's disgraceful. It's actually a humanitarian crisis that they're creating because they want to protect their farmers, but like, who are these farmers? You know, they're business people. They're corporations, like not corporations. They're companies, right? Who are generating profit.
IMF is a good thing. Just again reading Amit's comments on the side. Yeah, I agree with you that the IMF would have caused problems for Africa. I don't think they would have actually put in a true free trade policy for them. I think they're a financial sort of banking entity. They're very dodgy, the IMF.
Well, I mean, the problem with what the IMF did was they gave money to administrations that didn't manage it well, and then you end up with countries with debt, and then like, you know, it becomes hard to give them more debt or to invest in that country because of the financial instability that causes. I don't know, like, I don't think that it's because of free trade at all.
Free trade problem, but more that IMF was the problem. That's why Africa is in such a bit of a pickle at the moment.
Yeah.
I think if free trade was enacted in a more responsible way, they'd be in a better situation.
No, but what are the Africans going to do with their resources? They're going to be like, oh, we got these rare earth mines. Let's just, you know, make solar panels here without the industry to do it.
Yeah,
No,
I agree.
They don't have anything to build Africa with there. They need to take the skills that they have at the wages that they're willing to do it at, and export those products to the developed world. And the developed world will be like, oh, we're getting such a great deal out of these Africans. You know, we're only paying half as much as we were doing for our workers here. And the Africans are like, money, I love money, it's so great. You know,
Yeah.
you look at what's happened with China. You know, what happened when Nixon suddenly decided, yep, going to turn off this Cold War shit with China to piss off the Russians, you know, and then they liberalized and started building, you know, industry and trading between countries. Like, they're richer than us in some cases. Like, there are lots of people in China who are very well off. And it's because of this liberalization. And even the very poorest people, I know someone's going to go, oh, they're so poor. Like, what was it, 40 years ago, the Great Leap Forward? Like, 20-odd million people died of starvation in China. We don't have that anymore. Like,
except North Korea, probably.
well, that's the thing, right? Like, you close the borders like North Korea and you're fucked.
Yeah. That's nationalist. That's nationalism.
That's exactly. That's nationalism to the extreme. You isolate yourself, you know, in terms of international relations. It makes it harder for you to defend yourself because you're isolated. It makes it harder for you to trade. It makes it harder for you to import technology that you need and export your goods to stimulate your economy. And just on things like the TPP, I'm not going to defend every single thing in the TPP because obviously there are things in there where it's like, oh yeah, we're a cigarette company and we want to be able to sue your government for like making plain packaging. What a farce, right? But that's very different to like reducing tariffs and like arbitrary discrimination against whole countries, you know, and whether they're allowed to import things to yours.
I'd say that China's natural resources, I don't think it's its workforce, but more its ability, its intelligence, and its innovation. Because I don't think they rely completely on their workforce. That's just my opinion.
Well, China produces a lot of its own resources for its own country, but I mean, like what China sells is mostly labor. But
Okay.
the thing about like what are you going to put in Africa? I don't even know what you're going to. You know, you're talking about countries that have come off the back of really bad civil strife. You know, where like even South Africa right up until the 80s was and early 90s was in real trouble, right?
The biggest problem with Africa is corruption, man.
Corruption, imperialism, like racism, like both from white to black and between different groups.
Yeah.
In Africa, like, you know, genocide, like widespread genocide and war.
That
and like
Boko Haram's still running around.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
great, isn't it? But you know, like you need to start allowing the Africans to produce things for the rest of the world. And if you say, oh no, we're not going to set up a t-shirt company in Africa because they're going to be exploited because of free trade, they're just not going to have a t-shirt company.
That's true.
It'll suck for them. Like
they won't have anything. They won't have any work whatsoever.
Exactly.
It's better to start from somewhere than nowhere.
Yeah. No, they're not South African. I was talking about South Africa, like, as in reference to the fact that we consider South Africa a relatively advanced, like, society and economy.
I'm South African. I'm not saying that. I think he's Somalian, isn't he? I'm not sure.
Anyway, I've got to run because I got to write emails to like lots of other political parties. So it was good talking to you.
Get ready for work too tomorrow. Gotta have a shower and all that stuff. Try not to get to bed too late.
Yeah.
All right, good chat, guys. Let me see. What word? Diluted market. Yeah, I agree. I agree. If internationals are mining all the resources out, it dilutes demand. Yeah. Yeah, I think.
That's not going to be fixed with bringing in like trade controls, though.
Yeah, no.
It won't at all. What'll happen is you put a trade control for Australia with an African country, and what'll happen is someone from Iran will go, you know, it's down in Central Africa, this mine, and we can make lots of money off it, and I'll go through Iran, and I know for a fact that Iranian oil, like, it has to be sold on the black market. They deal with off like market purchases all the time. They can do this stuff, right? It doesn't matter what you do in terms of like restricting your trade. All you're doing is you're making sure that that Central African country has to deal with a dodgy, you know, country that's used to bending the rules instead of dealing with a well-established, you know, well-run, low corruption country like Australia.
I think in a closed market, the corporations would mine less because they can bring about artificial scarcity and jack up the prices.
Yeah. You want to talk closed markets and like
Diamonds.
monopolies and exploitation? Diamond market.
Yeah.
Africa, right there. That's your proof. Like, you don't. Yeah.
They have a diamond field in Russia that could supply us for like 1,000 years. They just don't use it for whatever reason, you know, like they're just crazy, aren't they?
Yeah.
They got a reason for it. They must do. Anyways, I'm gonna get off, guys. It's good chatting to you all.
Yep, I am too.
That was very nice.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.